Hey, this is Aaron,
And this is Kristen.
and this is Drive Mode Show.
What's up, Aaron?
I feel like I just woke up. I do, like, I still have that, like, puffy happening.
It's summertime, so we're kind of all trying to figure out the new schedule.
Yeah, and I'm still on my first cup, so.
My parents used to have this picture in their living room. It was this old like sailor guy with a long beard, and he was holding a stein, and he looked just like you at that moment. You're like,
I was looking around to see if I had something I could hold up as a sign.
there you
Or,
go. It's a sign. You know what you look like today? A pickup truck driver.
ah, I
Well,
do.
what does that
Any,
really mean?
any,
Because
any
I look like a pickup
particular
truck.
truck, though?
You know what I'm feeling right now? The GMC Sierra.
Yeah, that's a great lineup. It's a great lineup.
Good.
They've got good, awesome choices all the way from the half ton all the way up to I think they go all the way into the 4500s before they change the name from Sierra, if I remember right. But anyway, we'll talk both. We'll do half tons and heavy duties, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, because I just had a heavy duty and you just had the halftime.
Yes.
What I think is interesting about GMC is that their Denali line is so prevalent that people they'll say, "Oh, I have a Denali," instead of I have a I have a Sierra,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
My neighbor
great
across the street had a 2500 Denali, still has, and that's what he refers. That's its name. It's just Denali.
Denali.
Doesn't say anything else about to describe the truck.
Well, and from a sales perspective, I think they sell more of the Denali than any other trim. So that's interesting with the AT4 trim, which they came out a couple years ago,
Mhm.
is more designed for the off-roading, which I think that's also a smart move on their part. And that's what you had.
Yeah, I drove the AT4 with the AEV package, so the boron steel protective stuff. Um, and it's a wonderful off-roader. One of my favorite off-road vehicles of all time is the little Chevrolet Colorado um, with that package. And
Right.
here you are with a full-size luxury truck that has that package. So GMC is a premium lineup and very, very comfortable and well done. Just a nice all the way around. And the interiors are always top shelf. So
Yes, I agree. I had the 2500 diesel engine Denali, and it's huge. It's giant. It's a monster truck. But it was also super comfortable inside and very luxurious. What I was thinking is this is the perfect rig for somebody who wants to travel a lot,
mhm.
and tow something. If they want to tow some kind of camper, I mean, they'd be really doing it in style. And this thing tows, I think, 18,000 pounds.
Yeah, if you have a fifth wheel or gooseneck motorhome, that's a great truck to travel really long distances in. Um, I could actually say that probably about most of the makes once you're getting into that heavy duty lineup, but in particular, GMC is really good at interiors. Just and smooth rides. They've changed their suspension setup in this current generation, so it's much, much smoother when underweight. So when you have that trailer on it, or you have the back full of stuff or whatever, it's just a much smoother ride than it was in the previous generation, which was already good. So yeah, and then the design, just the styling for GMC, it's a great look. It's not as over the top as some of the other makes.
I agree. I think they did a really nice job with the interior, even in the heavy duty. So when I think of heavy duty truck, I'm thinking about very utilitarian type of approach to it. But this is definitely not. This has all the bells and whistles that you want, the heated seats, massaging seats, all of that fun stuff that you don't think you're going to get with a truck.
Mhm.
And they give it to you. And to your point about making it smoother, I think that also, other truck companies are taking this more seriously as well. Even when they made the new Toyota Tundra, I remember Mike Swears talking about how they put it in the wind tunnel with a trailer
Mhm.
to see how it was going to perform.
Um, Years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I went to Utah and we drove GMC trucks and towed trailers with side by sides, off-road vehicles on them, and took them out to the White Sands. And those trucks, that's the previous generation, handled really, really well. But under that load, even though it wasn't a terribly heavy load, we're talking, I think the trailer was a total of about 9,000 pounds. So for the 2,500, that was a lot less than it's capable of. But there was a lot of movement. So every time the trailer did something, you felt it in the truck. It moved a little bit. You felt that push and pull and that bounce and stuff. This newer generation, you get far less of that. You get just enough so that you know there's a trailer back there and you realize that you have to take care of that trailer, but you're not feeling pushed around like you do in some other trucks, especially that previous generation of the GMC. And then GMC and Chevrolet, because they're related, they have a lot of things that you can't get on another truck. Um, the bumper steps, those are so awesome because they're just integrated in the bumper. You don't have to pull anything down or move anything. You just step up and go. And the multi-pro tailgate, which
Yes.
seems like such a stupid gimmick until you actually use it. And then you realize how useful that thing is.
I
It's,
thought the same thing. I was like, wow, this really does have so many options.
yeah. I mean, it feels like a dumb gimmick, when you're looking at it and you see the presentation or whatever, and you're like, come on. I mean, it's just a bunch of hinges that are going to rust, whatever you're thinking. But then you try it and you're like, it's so much easier to get into the bed. It's so much easier to stack 2x4s. It's so much easier to use this for, just make a list. There's so many different ways you can flop it down. I think is it 12 or 16? I think it's 12 different configurations that can go into. And honest, the only tailgate that I've seen that I like better than that is actually just the Ram opens like this thing. But that's because it's the opposite. So you have this like fairly complex GMC setup that has all these different options, which are all really awesome. Or you have this, it opens, right?
It,
It
it
seems like
opens.
it. Right. But really, if you haul lumber or long objects on the regular, that multi-pro is the bomb. It is so
Yeah.
awesome. And if you haul motorcycles, also really awesome. Because with the tailgate down and the flap up, you got the back wheel supported so it doesn't roll back. And then you just tie it down and you're ready to go.
Yeah,
So,
that's really smart. And I think that they took a lot of customer input into consideration and figured
mhm,
out how that was going to work.
mhm,
Well, so for the naysayers, which there's always going to be naysayers, right? Like you kind of need to try it. And if it's not for
yeah.
you, it's not for you. But I think that it has a lot of useful ideas and options.
Well, the truck market is interesting because it's still about 60% brand oil. So if you're buying GMC, you're buying GMC. It doesn't matter what the other truck makers come out with. Even Chevrolet, like GMC buyers will often not go even just to Chevrolet, which is a sister company right there. It's GMC only. And the same happens with all of them. So you'll have the Ram only, the Ford only, whatever. Um, and then you have Toyota and Nissan that are working in the other 40%, attempting to capture a chunk of that. Um, without having any heavy duty options. So with the Sierra, you have both the half ton and the heavy duty 2500, 3500, etc. And it's really cool because if you like one, but you need the other, it's the same. Other than some powertrain changes, they're the same truck on the inside, on the outside, as far as general looks. They're all the same. So,
Let me tell you two things that I really liked about the Sierra. And one is the audio controls, because that's
mhm.
very important to us music people.
Yes.
You know, it's very easy to set up the favorites, your favorite channels. But then on the back of the steering wheel, I love that it has those toggle switches. Now, on the Ram, I think the Ram does a better job of making those toggle switches smoother and softer. They're a little clickier on the GMC and Chevrolet products, but I appreciate that they're there because you can change your volume and your station without having to look at anything or move your hands from the wheel. I think that's really important. The second thing I really like about the Sierra and all of the grades is all of the camera angles. They've got, you can see the back of your truck from just about any angle that you want, in front of you, back, sides, trailer, you name it.
Yeah, their trailer system in particular, being able to dial in your trailer to their cameras, is a really awesome setup because then you can almost literally, not really, but you can see through the trailer, and then the cameras will also show you all of the blind spots and every makes tasks like just driving down the highway with a long trailer much easier and makes backing up that trailer without any other gimmicks, like the little dial or whatever, just backing it up naturally a lot easier. Um, yeah, it's a really great system. My favorite thing about GMC trucks, besides the interior, I love the interior. Uh, my favorite thing is actually the looks. Um, some of the other truck makers, they look too much like they're just stamped out. And then some of them look like they put too much effort into not looking stamped out. And GMC just kind of falls perfectly right in the between those two extremes. So it's not too bulbous or big, trying to look too big, but it's not like just here's some straight panels, go to town, you're done, paint it. It's a nice kind of middle ground there with some trapezoids, half trapezoids happening around the fenders and stuff to accentuate, but without just getting bulbous and nuts. Um, it's a really, really sleek, good looking design, just a good looking truck, you know.
It is. It's a good looking truck. And if I needed to tow and I needed to tow long distances, this is a great choice. I'm glad I got a chance to drive it. It's not your typical grocery getter if you have to deal with cities and tight parking spaces, I've discovered. But in most places, even downtown Austin at Whole Foods, I was able to find a spot, so it's definitely doable.
And then engine options. You have, I think, I'm remembering, so uh, I may or may not be right. I believe there are three gasoline engine options and a diesel option, but only in the heavy duties. I think they dropped the diesel for the half ton, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we do the. I did drive the diesel in the 2500 HD. It is a V8, 401 horsepower. Here it says 464 pound-feet of torque. So
Yeah, that's some good towing. It'll be interesting to see what GMC and Chevrolet as a whole, General Motors comes out with for like hybrid and electrified options. Um, I think pickup trucks in particular are ripe for plug-in hybrid setups, and so far nobody's done that. I would really like to see that because I think it's kind of a perfect combination. And then another really great combination would be a smaller displacement diesel engine acting as a generator for an electric truck. Um,
I
but
like that
that would
idea.
also be an expensive proposition. So I don't know when or whether that will come out, but it seems like a no-brainer. They're already talking about it with big trucks and commercial options. So, when you get into the 4,500 range with like dump trucks, things like that, they start talking about whether or not they want to go to that train design where you have a diesel engine that just acts as a generator. And that would be really good because a diesel engine purring along at its perfect RPM and never having to shift to try to propel something is exceedingly efficient. So be interesting to see.
Good idea. I like it. So
Looking
thumbs
forward to
up
that
on the
electric
Sierra.
truck.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So yeah, that's I guess our thoughts on the GMC lineup of pickup trucks. The GMC Sierra, which comes in, I believe it's 4 packages in most of the
The
sets,
trend line.
depending on the size of the truck. I think it shrinks as you get larger in the heavy duty lineups. But yeah, best known for the Denali. My favorite is the AT4, but everybody has something, right?
That's right.
So that's what we think of them, right?
That's right.
That's right. All right. This has been Aaron.
And this is Kristin.
This is Drive Mode Show with yet another awkward ending.